In a previous interview, you talked about struggling throughout the season. So what changed and how are you able to turn the page so that the end of the season went a lot better?
At the start of the 2024 season, Lexie Hull seemed destined to fade into obscurity. Drafted 6th overall in 2022, the former collegiate star and national champion faced challenges adapting to the WNBA under the guidance of then Indiana Fever coach Christy Sides. Struggling to find her rhythm, Hull often found herself sidelined, her minutes dwindling as others stepped into the spotlight. Fans began to wonder if she would ever fulfill the promise that once made her a standout.
So you have basketball in your genes. Your grandfather played basketball, your dad, and you have a twin sister who you played basketball with growing up. What was it like growing up in that family dynamic?
Well, we have a super competitive family, and having my dad play basketball collegiately, knew that basketball was going to be put in my hands at an early age, but my parents were, super excited about having us try every sport imaginable. So yeah, we grew up, my sister and I, playing a little bit of everything.
Then came Caitlin Clark, a superstar sensation whose electrifying style lit up the WNBA. Clark didn't just transform the Fever's offense, she revolutionized the entire team dynamic, from chemistry to individual performances. Her arrival sent ripples through the roster, and no one felt the impact more than Lexie Hull.
I think it was important to get to know her off the court because I do think that, connections, getting to know people really play a part in the success of teams.
In a recent interview with Asterisk, She's for Sports Asterisk and Asterisk, the Dunker Spot Asterisk, Lexie Hull opened up about what really went on behind the scenes. How did Caitlin Clark's leadership spark Hull's transformation? And what does this reveal about the resurgence of the Indiana Fever? Dive into Asterisk, the untold truth asterisk of redemption, camaraderie, and one of the most inspiring comeback stories in WNBA history.
She's been called the clutch player by WNBA fans, and she was drafted to the W in 2022 with the Indiana Fever in the first round as the 6th pick. I'm talking about professional basketball player Lexie Hull.
The 2024 season couldn't have started worse for Lexie Hull. Drafted 6th overall in 2022, the former Stanford star and national champion had entered the league with high expectations. Yet, just 2 years into her WNBA career, she found herself relegated to the bench, watching as players like Katie Lou Samuelson and Christy Wallace took the court ahead of her.
And at the beginning of the season, my playing time definitely looked different than it did at the end. So trusting that, I was staying ready, putting in the work so that when I did get the minutes out on the court, that I could take full advantage of them. So I was just really proud of myself for trusting the process and staying the course.
The transition from college star to struggling pro was far from easy. Hull admitted the mental adjustment was tough. The basketball part is really hard, she shared. Everyone in this league was the best player on their college team and probably their high school team, so you're competing against the best of the best, some who've been doing this for years. Adding to her personal struggles, the Indiana Fever were in shambles. Opening the season with a dismal 1-8 record, the team faced mounting criticism. Headlines highlighted defensive lapses, poor rotations, and a lack of chemistry. The tension in the locker room was palpable. "We were just sick of losing," Hull recalled. "We felt like we were better than that." But Hull didn't let the adversity define her. Instead, she poured herself into practice, sharpening her cutting and shooting in preparation for the opportunity she hoped would come. "Part of my role is getting to the open spots," she said. "We have such a good offense that when you're open, they'll find you. It's exciting to be part of that momentum." Everything changed with the arrival of Caitlin Clark, the rookie phenom whose highlight reels and fierce competitiveness had already made her a star before she even stepped onto the court for the Fever. Clark brought more than just talent. She brought an energy that electrified the entire organization. From the moment Clark joined, the atmosphere shifted. Practices became intense, ticket sales surged, and fans buzzed with excitement. "Caitlin's energy is infectious," Hull said. "She's the type of player who will do whatever it takes to win, and you can't help but feed off that." Clark's court vision and ability to deliver pinpoint passes transformed the Fever's offense. Hull experienced the difference firsthand. "There were times I'd cut to the basket without expecting the ball, and somehow Caitlin would still get it to me, she laughed. It made me realize that every cut, every fast break, had a real chance to turn into something. Clark's ability to draw defenders opened up opportunities for players like Hull. She makes passes I didn't think were possible, Hull added. You're no longer cutting just to cut. You're cutting with a real possibility of making a play. Clark's impact went beyond the X and O's. Her leadership created a culture of accountability and belief. She sees the game at such a high level, Hull explained. And when you miss a shot, she's the first to tell you, you've got the next one. That kind of support builds confidence. Practices became battles as the Fever worked to fix their weaknesses. Clark's competitive fire pushed the team to elevate their play. If something wasn't working, Caitlin wasn't afraid to push us to figure it out, Hull said. Her energy was contagious, and we knew we had to match it. The Fever's turnaround began not in games, but in those grueling practices. During the Olympic break, the team had a month to refine their skills. Hull focused on improving her shooting consistency, and daily performance tracking kept her motivated. Seeing my percentages improve gave me confidence, she said. By the second half of the season, Hull was no longer just a bench player. She had become a vital part of the team's offense. With Clark and veteran stars like Kelsey Mitchell and Aliyah Boston drawing defensive attention, Hull thrived in her role. Kelsey and Caitlin draw so much attention, and it opens up lanes for players like me to make cuts and find openings, she said. The Fever's improved chemistry translated into wins, and fans took notice. Home games felt electric, and even road games drew sold-out crowds. It's amazing to play in packed arenas, Hull said. The energy is something we hadn't felt in years. Social media buzz grew as Fever fans rallied around the team. Hull described the overwhelming support. You don't realize how many people are rooting for you until they come out and say, "We've been following your journey the whole time." It's incredibly humbling. With success came new challenges. Hull admitted the pressure of being in the spotlight wasn't always easy. It's hard not to read the comments, she said, but having a strong support system helps you focus on the positives. The team leaned on one another to navigate the highs and lows. The biggest thing is finding people who remind you of what you're doing right, Hull said. That unity is what gets us through tough times. The Fever's journey from chaos to chemistry was nothing short of extraordinary. With Clark leading the charge and Hull finding her stride, the team didn't just make the playoffs. They redefined what they could achieve. Hull reflected on the season with gratitude. "I'm so thankful to play in the WNBA and to be part of this team," she said. "The growth we've experienced, on and off the court, is something special." For the Fever, the season was about more than basketball. It was a testament to resilience, teamwork, and the belief that with the right leadership and determination, any turnaround is possible. As Hull put it, when you know your cuts and plays matter, the game becomes so much more fun. And with this team, it's all worth it.